And everybody, as is my ritual, I do show you the temperatures. This is Friday, the 17th of January. So we've seen the thermometer go up to 50 this week, but now it's right back down to about 40. So I always try to show you the temperatures that Stephen's in. Somebody made a comment that they were in negative 10 degrees. Well, I'm glad I'm not in negative 10 degrees, but 20 is cold enough. So let's go see what Stephen's up to. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning. And Stephen has been out every day this week trying to beat some bad temperatures and weather that's coming next week. And of course, it's a federal holiday. Not only is it inauguration on Monday, but it's also a federal holiday. It's MLK Day too. So that's going to close things up. Yeah, so all the governments are shutting down on Monday, not just because of inauguration, but MLK Day too. So,
these bolts are seized up in there. That's what happens when you buy a Michigan truck. So normally you can do a job and blah blah blah, but when you have a truck that's been exposed to a lot of salt and whatever it is they put out there, it'll get in to the metal, and when you go to do a simple job, it's not so simple when you got to play 2 hours just to get one bolt out.
so what's it stuck in? With the,
I'm working on trying to get the bushings replaced. I wanted to get this axle done and get it all brakes adjusted, filled up with oil, wheels on, so it was 100% complete. Nothing needs to be done with this axle. So I got all that completed yesterday. Now that I've done that, I realize it's actually in my freaking way.
oh no!
Yeah, because somebody decided to put a bolt in backwards. See how that bolt is backwards?
Right here, is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
So that's backwards then?
Yep. Normally you can get the ratchet on here, but because they put it on backwards, I can't get a ratchet in it.
So are you going to have to undo what you just did yesterday?
I don't know what I'm going to have to do just yet.
So did I hear you? You said all the work that you did yesterday is now in your way.
No. The tires are in my way. I could use more space, is what I'm saying.
Oh man, Stephen.
I had no idea that these back bolts, I thought the front ones were hard to get loose. They were simple compared to these. Look out. Better watch out, metal goes flying around here.
Stephen, look up at the forklift all the way up. All the way up. Look at that.
That's why they knock so many things over.
I mean, he's all the way up.
Them hawks.
Yeah, he's making himself viewable to the hawks out there.
There's like 4 of them. 2 of them sitting over there.
Hawks are after you, kitty cat. You better stick close. It's nothing for a big bird of prey to run off with the cat.
Yeah, them hawks aren't so big, but they give them a fight. But that eagle that runs around here, he's pretty big.
You got the best seat of the house up there, don't you, buddy? So this is a shout out to one of our viewers and subscribers, Ohio Voodoo. He's the one that got me calling our cats the stars. Ohio Voodoo loves our cats, and he's the one that started calling our cats the stars of the show. So this is for you, Ohio Voodoo. Say, this is for you. I am definitely the star of the show. Then we have another subscriber that likes the fact that our cats are the Bombay cats. They're black and have the golden eyes. That's called the Bombay. That's Bill Todd, I believe. He's the one that has been in Greenland, working in Greenland on a contract, Mr. Bill Todd, and then he's going down to Louisiana. But he likes our cats too. We have lots of subscribers that like our kitties. So if you're not a cat person, I'm sorry.
Yeah, forget about the bushings. I can't even get the freaking bolts out. I guess I can some more force to it. break that housing, I'll have to replace that whole freaking housing.
Oh, wow. Here, take this and describe what you're doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, so I've replaced the bushings up there. This whole axle is completed, filled up, the brakes adjusted, tires torqued, everything done on this front axle. We're good with the front axle. Now I'm on the back axle. And it was a bear getting the bolts out of the front axle. But I thought that was tough. These do not want to play. That one actually broke. That's how much it doesn't want to play. I did get that one to move. The back one still isn't ready to move. So I've heated everything up with the torch and expanded it. It's starting to cool back down. Probably heated it back up again. Trying to bang on it, get some of the corrosion knocked loose. But I have to battle with that before I can even battle with the bushings. And then when I'm done with the bushings, I can do a simple job and put in bearings and be done with it. Fill her up with oil. So that's what I'm doing. Get some heat back on this thing. Done cooled off. It ain't gonna do me no good with metal cold. Need to have it hot and expanded. So go ahead and get that back over here. Heat that back up. Metal and aluminum are very corrosive to one another, and when you add salt from the road, it becomes an inhibitor and causes oxidation on between the two metals. And when you get the two metals oxidizing on one another in a confined area, it's almost like they weld themselves together. So the idea is to try to get the aluminum to expand. By getting it to expand with a lot of heat, you have a fighting chance of breaking it loose. As of right now, I don't have a chance of breaking it loose because, well, one bolt broke.
And
the impact that I used was so tight that it said no way. It turned off after a while.
So you said that they had put the bolts in backwards?
Well, one of them went backwards. Somebody trying to be cute. You know, trying to be different. They should go in forward so that you can get your tools in there and get access to it. But whoever worked on it, looks like it went in and got an alignment. So whoever did the alignment put the bolt in backwards. Of course, those people that work in them alignment shops, and he already admitted that he took them to TAs. Them are kids fresh out of high school. They don't even know how to tie their shoes, and they're in there doing alignments and stuff. So anyway, so somebody put the bolt in backwards, and now I can't get an impact in from the other side unless I might have to take that airbag off so I can get to it. Even if the wheels were off, I couldn't get to it, so I may end up having to jack it back up, lift it back up, and take that airbag off in order to get an impact on there. But anytime you buy a truck that runs up north and they run in salty areas, you know, the problem is you may be able to walk by and say, oh, it don't look bad, but the problem is when you go to work on something, all the bolts have that corrosion on them, and it becomes a war. You know, what would take you 10 minutes may take you 5-10 hours.
a commemorative plate on the dash of the truck 20 years ago that we had, because it had been used as a Garth Brooks touring truck, and but we did have a computer that crashed, where we lost a lot of videos and a lot of pictures. That's really sad. These days we're smarter. I mean, put everything on external storage devices called passports. All of our YouTube videos we upload, we get them off the computer and we upload them to, it's called a passport. It's an external storage device. That way if our computer crashes, we have all of our videos saved externally, because that was a nightmare to have that happen. So yes, we probably did have a picture of the Garth Brooks label plate inside the truck. We got that in Tennessee, didn't we?
Yeah, from can't remember the dealer down there. They're criminals. How you know they're lying to you? When they open their mouth.
Oh, and that was your first experience buying a truck. That was 20 years ago this month.
Yeah, here I am again.
That was January of 2005, and we had purchased a 1996 Peterbilt 379. That was 20 years ago, Stephen. And like you said, here we are again. Of course, talking about Garth Brooks, y'all might have known that he sang last week at the funeral of the president of Jimmy Carter's funeral. That you may end up having to cut them off?
I'm giving it everything I got. If I had to, I have to cut them off, and then when I cut them off, I still got to beat them out. So just because I cut them off doesn't mean the war is over with.
Oh, wow.
This one here wasn't too bad. I was able to do it without too much of a fight. That one over there was like this one here. It took me a good long time to break them loose, and I finally, but I had plenty of room to get a big hammer in there and beat on it, you know.
But now the tire's in your way.
Like I said, the tire, if the tire wasn't on there, it still wouldn't matter because the airbag is in my way because they turned that bolt backwards. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, had I just come out here and have like this right here and just had to loosen up the bolts, I'd already had them I'd be almost done with it already. Really, I'd almost be done with it already. Coming out, since I've come out here this morning and started on this axle, I would be done, probably pretty darn close to putting them bushings in within an hour. But here I am. an hour later, and I got one nut and it's broken. And it broke. You know how much force it takes to break one of those off? See that rust behind it?
Yes.
That's basically welded. That's what salt does to a vehicle. Generally, you look at a vehicle and you go, oh, I don't see much rust. That's not what you need to look at. You need to look, see how this has got white coming out of it? See that white? You see the white around these I forget what they're, hooks?
Yeah.
They're called hooks. See the white coming out down there? That's the corrosion that's caused by the salt. It gets in there and gets behind the two different types of metal. This is aluminum and this is steel. And you add the corrosive chemicals from the roads, and that's what you want to. The rust on the chassis ain't really a big deal. I mean, it's ugly to look at, but what the problem is when it gets in between two different metals. So, you know, the thing about a truck is that you have to service it. And so, when you have to service it, the first thing you want to look at is what kind of effort will it take to do the surface on your truck? Well, you know, this right here, like I said, in an hour, I could have already had those bushings probably replaced. But because it being a northern truck and not being washed regularly, the salt got in there and caused oxidation between the metal and the aluminum, and now it's warm. And I really can't use any more time. I mean, I don't really have a choice in the matter. I got to do what I got to do. I got to take as much time as it takes to do it. But I've put so much freaking time into this thing already. I got that axle, and then I got to do the kingpins. And the kingpins shouldn't be too bad because they're up there in all the oil. So, you know, it shouldn't have this problem back here. That's one thing good about a leaky, oily truck is that it would prevent this from happening. But it wasn't a leaky, oily truck, so. Ladies and gentlemen, you're asking what's taking so long to get this fixed? You're looking at looks like an accident. The socket breaks or something breaks, I'm gonna go flying. Wow. What's happening? Either it's trying to come loose or it's getting ready to break. And if it's getting ready to break, it's gonna be a long, long day. You go around and look at that bolt. That bolt?
Yes.
Let me know if you see it turn.
Oh, it is turning. 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 Yeah, it's turning. Yeah, it's turning. It's turning. It's turning. Whoa. Yep.
You know, if they put anti-seize on there, when they put it together, this wouldn't have happened.
Well, aren't you supposed to put anti-seize on something?
Most people who care about other people would. Meaning,
yeah, it's turning. It's
you're
turning.
working on something, you put it back together, and you think about the next person going to work on it. You'll be like, oh yeah, I better put some anti-seize on there. But if you don't care about who works on it next, you really don't care.
Yeah, it's turning.
Well, as you can see, even though it's turning, it's still pretty freaking tight.
Oh man. Wow.